The greatest story ever told tells us how three wise men followed a star to Bethlehem, leading them to the newborn Lord Jesus. Today we learn that a scientist at NASA believes a near-Earth comet may have been the moving star that guided the three kings. I'm really delighted to be joined from NASA by the man behind the discovery, planetary scientist Mark Matney. Mark, thank you so much for joining me. Could you explain, in layman's terms, so that even I could understand, what it is that you've discovered and what is a near-Earth comet?
So what I've discovered is that a comet that was observed by the Chinese in 5 BC, I put together the information from their observation to come up with an orbit that would take this particular comet very, very close to the Earth. And as it passed the Earth, probably about the distance to the moon, a position on the rotating Earth would have seen that comet pause for a period of hours over a location. We have the same thing now with the geosynchronous satellite. If you stand at the equator, there are geosynchronous satellites that stay over your head 24/7.
Okay, so it appears to be stationary because both it and the Earth are moving, and you don't notice the movement of the Earth, and therefore you don't notice its movement.
Right.
And therefore it could have been hovering over Bethlehem.
Correct. And the orbit I came up with would have stayed that way for several hours. So it turns out that the story in the book of Matthew that describes the Magi's journey, before they came to Jerusalem, it just says they saw the star. But when they traveled from Jerusalem south to Bethlehem, it says it went before them until it stood over the place where the child was. And objects in the sky typically rise in the east and set in the west due to the Earth's rotation, the stars, the sun and the moon, the planets. But if an object, like I said, was close enough to the Earth and traveling at the right direction, it could have paused for a period of hours. And these being trained astronomers, they would have noticed something that this was very unusual.
Using the internet without a VPN, a virtual private network, is a bit like taking to the road without car insurance. All it takes is one unlucky moment to cost you a lot of cash. This video's sponsor is Private Internet Access. They are the VPN to help keep you safe. Click the link in the description below to find out why over 30 million people have downloaded PIA to protect themselves online. A virtual private network is an app that hides your IP address and helps keep your data private. When you're browsing the internet at home, you give up a large amount of data to businesses, to shops, and indeed to social media giants too. Hackers have the ability to steal your personal data with ease, including sensitive information such as passwords, keystrokes, and even your personal photos. Private Internet Access helps protect your personal data by encrypting your internet connection to keep your data out of the hands of cyber criminals. And it's not just hackers either to be concerned about. Information can be censored too. When Canada passed their C-18 bill, social media giants decided to ban news content on their platforms. But PIA can protect your ability to consume the news and content you love. Private Internet Access is available for Windows users, Mac OS, Android, Linux, iOS, and you can use one PIA subscription to protect an unlimited amount of devices. And we've got a huge GB News discount for you too. Click the link in this video's description and you'll get a massive 83% off PIA. That's under £2 a month, the price of a coffee, and you'll get an extra 4 months completely free on top. Also, there's a 30-day money-back guarantee too. Visit piavpn.com/GB News to start protecting yourself digitally today.
So they would have noticed something unusual, and it would have been moving to start with. It's only when you've got the speeds at exactly the right pace together that it appears to hover. Is that right?
Correct. And the orbit I came up with, the star would appear a little bit west of south as they were leaving on the morning of June 8th, is where the orbit says. And as they walked from Jerusalem to Bethlehem, it would have maintained the same azimuth, which is the east-west, north-south direction, so a little bit west of south. And as they walked, it would have gotten higher and higher in the sky until they arrived in Bethlehem, and it would have paused almost directly overhead. The other thing was, when I did the orbit, it turned out it was during the daytime, which had always bugged me. Our Christmas cards have the Magi traveling at night. But people in the ancient world typically didn't travel at night because they didn't have street lights. They didn't have. There were robbers. The road construction. I don't know what else. But this comet was so close to the Earth that it would have had the brightness of like a first quarter or full moon. So it would have been clearly visible in the daylight.
So it would have been easy for them to follow. And how quickly would they have had to have travelled? Could they have travelled fast enough to keep up with it?
Well, it would have been a direction. So it turns out it takes 2 or 3 hours to walk from Jerusalem to Bethlehem. It's a relatively short distance. And that's the period of time where it behaved like this for those few hours. So there was the time available. Now, of course, their trip from the east, it would have taken many weeks. And the Chinese said the comet was visible in the constellation Capricorn for more than 70 days. And it's that appearance in one constellation for an extended period. Pilots know this. If you see an object in the sky while you're flying a plane and it's not moving left, right, or up, down, it's actually on a collision course, or nearly so, with you. So the comet was heading more or less directly towards the Earth until, at least in my theory, they arrived in Jerusalem and walked that distance from Jerusalem to Bethlehem.
And some comets, like Halley's Comet, come back on a set pattern. Is this a comet that's likely to come back, or will it have gone on forever?
Well, two possibilities. I assume that it was what's called an Oort cloud comet, which has very, very long periods, can be thousands or tens of thousands or even more years. But this one appeared to be, at least the orbit I came up with, appeared to be what's called a sun grazer, which means it comes very, very close to the sun, and it likely disintegrated when it got so close to the sun.
All right. Well, thank you for explaining this. I find it absolutely fascinating that so many of the things in the Bible turn out to have truth behind them. So thank you for telling everyone about it and bringing your expertise to bear and joining GB News. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Finally, a story that will make you wonder if you've been hit with a confundus charm. In a stupefying move, staff at the University of Glasgow have cast the unforgivable curse of trigger warnings on Harry Potter books over what they call outdated attitudes, abuse and language. It seems the university has cast obliviate on common sense, and perhaps it's time to avada kedavra the woke nonsense that has our institutions under the imperious curse. And I think my children would have understood that a good deal better than I did.
At GB News, we believe in the power of free speech. We're not afraid to ask the tough questions, challenge the status quo, and give you a voice. While others silence dissent, we champion the truth. By becoming a GB News member, you're not just supporting free speech, you're defending it. Please consider supporting us today. Together, we'll hold the powerful to account and make sure that your voice is always heard. Simply go to gbnews.com/support and stand with us for what matters most.